I'm so pleased to introduce our closing speaker today, Admiral Rachel Levine. Admiral Levine serves as the 17th Assistant Secretary for Health for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Dr. Levine strives to improve the health and well-being of all Americans every day. Today, we'll hear from Admiral Levine about her work on long COVID and climate change in health. Admiral Levine, over to you.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Research America, for inviting me to speak today. COVID-19 has been and continues to be the biggest public health crisis that our nation and the world has seen in more than 100 years. One important lesson of the pandemic is that we are all truly interconnected, and we need to ensure that a healthier future includes eliminating health disparities and promoting health equity. As our nation continues to make strides in the fight against COVID-19, we need also to shine a light on long COVID's impact and how to match people to resources. My office, the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, recently released two recent reports on long COVID. Now, estimates vary, but anywhere between 7.7 to 23 million Americans have developed long COVID, and roughly 1 million people are out of the workforce at any given time due to long COVID. This figure equates to approximately $50 billion annually in lost salaries. Now, we produced two reports: the Services and Supports for Longer-Term Impacts of COVID-19 report. This report is the Services Report, and this outlines federally funded supports and services for individuals experiencing the longer-term effects of COVID-19 in the areas of long COVID and associated conditions, as well as the longer-term impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, such as mental health, substance use, and bereavement. Now, the second report is the National Research Action Plan on Long COVID. The research plan proposes a comprehensive and equitable research strategy to inform our national response to long COVID. For long COVID, these reports are just one part, however, of a broader whole-of-government response to advancing our nation's understanding of long COVID and its associated conditions, promoting high-quality care for patients, and helping individuals access needed supportive services. Health crises don't wait their turn. They can descend on the same place and the same people at the same time. For example, we have seen how extreme weather stoked by climate change has added to the health threats of COVID-19. It has shut down testing and vaccination sites, forcing people to balance sheltering and COVID-19 exposure, and even threatening healthcare facilities already stressed by the surge in COVID-19 cases. Climate change is certainly no longer an issue for future generations to grapple with. It is happening right now, and the situation is dire. Health needs to be central to the conversation when we talk about climate change. Far too many disadvantaged low-income communities, including communities of color, continue to bear the brunt of pollution, from industrial development, agricultural practices, cumulative impacts of land use decisions, transportation and trade corridors. Climate change and health and supporting environmental justice are priorities of mine, Secretary Becerra, and President Biden. Last year, my office established HHS's Office of Climate Change and Health Equity. OCHE, as we fondly call it, is an office with a mighty mission. The first area aims to build the resilience of communities to the health impacts of climate change, especially communities facing more than their fair share of climate change and environmental justice burdens. We will work closely across the Department of Health and Human Services to help tailor solutions that meet each community's unique needs. The second area focuses on harnessing long-term recovery and infrastructure initiatives to combine climate actions with health equity. We know that the environments where people are born, live, learn, work, play, worship, and age can either contribute to people's health and longevity, or they can contribute to illness and health disparities. And those disparities then make people more susceptible to the health threats of climate change. Lastly, OCHI is working with our nation's hospitals and health systems, both private and federal, to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and make them more resilient to the effects of climate change. The United States health sector accounts for roughly 8.5% of United States carbon emissions, and the global health sector accounts for around 4.5% of global carbon emissions. Thus, progress in this area is critically important towards meeting President Biden's goal for economy-wide greenhouse gas reductions by 2030. Earlier this year, we launched the Health Sector Climate Pledge. This is a voluntary commitment for healthcare stakeholders to invest in resilience and decarbonization that comes with federal supports and technical assistance. We encourage any health system to join this pledge. Just search OCHI Pledge, O-C-C-H-E Pledge, and join with us today to build a healthier tomorrow. The time to act is right now. History will look at us for the actions or inactions that we take right now. I choose to take action, and I hope you will join me in doing the same. Every action, big or small, gives us hope for a healthier future for everyone. Thank you.